veterans serving and who have served in the state of Delaware. We have Donald Kaufman representing the Delaware Veterans Coalition. Mr. Kaufman is a Vietnam veteran and a retired member of the military. We have Mr. Anthony Sini from the Army National Guard, served from 1967 and 1968 in Vietnam, and served 20 years in the National Guard here in Delaware. We have Charles Spearing, a Delaware Tech alumni and a recent Air Force retiree, from what I understand. And the last gentleman, I do apologize, your name? Howard Bryant, another Vietnam veteran and member of the community, having served in Vietnam. In addition, we have Emily Walls, a senior from Caesar Rodney, who will be sharing an incredible talent with us later. We have numerous veterans from the campus, from the community, and we just thought it important to thank them and to welcome them home. And with that, we're honored to have a member of the Honor Guard from Dover Air Force Base. Thank you. This year marks the 50th commemoration of the start of the Vietnam War. To honor that ceremony, I'd like to introduce our Assistant Dean of Students, Bill Morrow, who served in the Air Force from 1989 through 1992 and separated as a captain. One of our students, Matthew Murray, served in the Army as a specialist from 1982 to 1986 and B.J. Reams, a member of our culinary arts staff, who served in the Air Force as a senior master sergeant from 1976 through 2004.
It is with great honor that I accept this Vietnam War commemorative flag for the Terry campus. The 2008 National Defense Authorization Act authorized the Secretary of Defense to support and facilitate this ceremony and ceremonies like this throughout the country to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. The purpose of the Vietnam commemoration is to honor veterans and their families, recognize contributions and sacrifices made on the home front, provide Americans with a clear understanding and history of the Vietnam War, and recognize the contributions of civilian organizations to the war effort. Even though you can't see the flag, I would like to explain the significance of some key features. The red, white, and blue inner rings represent the flag of the United States of America and recognize all Americans, both military and civilian, who served or contributed to the Vietnam War effort. The outer black ring serves as a reminder of those who were held as prisoners of war or listed as missing in action during the Vietnam War. The black ring surrounds the red, white, and blue rings to call attention to their sacrifices, the sacrifices of their families, and the defense of our nation's freedom. Within the blue ring are the words service, valor, and sacrifice, virtues demonstrated by our veterans during the Vietnam War. The gold-rimmed white star located between the words service and valor represents hope for the families of those veterans for which there has not been a full accounting. The blue-rimmed gold star located between the words valor and sacrifice represents the families of those veterans who paid the ultimate sacrifice during the war. The blue star at the bottom of the inner blue ring represents the families of all veterans and symbolizes their support from home. The green laurel wreath signifies honor for all those who served. And finally, the phrase, "A grateful nation thanks and honors you," is the personal message to each veteran, civilian, family member, and all who served and sacrificed during the Vietnam War. I would like to invite everyone to join us at the conclusion of our ceremony today in the cafeteria for a USO-style coffee and donuts social. And next, we will hear some remarks on the POW MIA Remembrance Ceremony.
Good morning, and thank you for coming. Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful of the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and internment. Before we begin our activities this morning, we're paused to recognize our POWs and MIAs. We call your attention to a small white table that is in the cafeteria I urge you to see before you leave. The table is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families this morning, so we join together to pay a humble tribute to them and bear witness to their continued absence. This table set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to the country's call to arms. The single red rose in the vase signifies the blood that many have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades to keep the faith while awaiting their return. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, symbolizing our continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate those captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt on the plate symbolizes the countless fallen tears of the families as they wait. The Bible, it represents strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded one nation under God. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in the hearts and illuminates their way home, away from their captors and into the open arms of a grateful nation. The glass is inverted. They cannot drink with us this morning. The chair is empty. They are not here. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This marks the end of the commemoration service. Take a moment of silence, reflect, and then I invite you all into the cafeteria to enjoy a donut and some coffee and some fellowship with our neighbors. Thank you so much.
Because you will never help